Welcome to Ancient Wisdom, guys. If you didn't already subscribe to our newer channel, newer Ancient Wisdom.
You think your wisdom is so old? Yeah, well.
Check out our wisdom.
Subscribe to more Ancient Wisdom.
Right, so whoever does an intro next.
I think you just did it. Damn. And welcome to Ancient Wisdom. We're recording, right?
Oh, yeah.
I guess we might as well start. Here we go, guys. Listen, I'm Gain Retard. Blah, blah, blah. Intro line. We got a word of the day here. And it is clandestine / surreptitious.
Clandestine.
And also you get points to say, I can't control what you do. I can only control what I do.
Damn, that's deep.
I can't control what you do. I can only control what I do.
That's big of you to say.
I realized I wasn't talking into a mic. That's big of you, Mitch. Yeah, you know, sometimes we're about being the bigger person here on Ancient Wisdom. You guys ever heard surreptitious before? I know someone in here has definitely said clandestine a few times. Clandestine? Clandestine? Maybe clandestine is like the Jewish version.
Clandestine.
Yeah, it sounds like a place. Clandestine.
Yeah. You ever been to clandestine?
Clandestine.
Evan starting off high with a half point. Ooh. You know, what can I say? If you get more points, you get them, you know? And if you get 0.75 points, Ryan, try better next time.
Stop giving us shitty points.
I don't know what to tell you. Marco, what do we got for the definition?
All right. Clandestine refers to something that is kept secret, hidden, or concealed, often implying activities or operations that are not meant to be publicly known.
The clan.
The clan is planned. A good way to remember
secret.
It. Anyway, yeah.
I mean, no, they're pretty public.
Well, you know, it was a process.
It was a process.
Coming out of the closet.
Yeah.
You like our new shots, by the way? Look at this. Ooh, fancy.
Ooh, I'm in my own little type of square.
Oh, my God. Was it Hollywood Square?
Yeah, Hollywood Squares. It's Ancient Wisdom Squares.
Ancient Wisdom Square. Marco, how about surreptitious?
Surreptitious means something done in secretive, stealthy, or sneaky manner, often to avoid being noticed or detected.
Like a ninja.
What's the
I've
difference?
heard surreptitiously before.
Really?
That's the only word.
More than clandestine?
Or surreptitious as well. I've heard surreptitiously.
Right. I mean, you've heard it more than you've heard clandestine? Or
Yeah.
Oh, wow, that's interesting. I feel like my experience was the opposite. Like, I've heard clandestine and thought about it, forgot it a few times because it's such a strange word. But then I recently heard surreptitious. Oh, this has got to be the word of the day. This is amazing. And I can't control what you do. I could only control what I do. Because we're deep like that. Guys, should we get into it?
Yes.
Oh my God. These topics are a little all over the place, but I've been liking starting off with some analyzing self. Dun, 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 dun.
Where the hell is it?
It's literally the first one. It's A.
There you go.
We're gonna get a try. This is how it should go.
I like this.
Fun, right?
Yeah, man, I like this
A
one.
little TV audio never killed anybody. Guys, I'm going to list off a few words. You tell me what comes to your mind, especially you, Ryan. Gilgamesh. I Ching. The Torah. The Vedas. The Tao Te Ching. The Odyssey. The Egyptian or the Tibetan Book of the Dead. I'll give you either one. The Popol Vuh and the Prose Edda. Anything?
I might only know a couple of those, kind of.
Dude, nothing. I mean, I've
nothing?
heard some of these before.
Yeah.
It sounds like
Gilgamesh
heresy.
especially.
Gil,
I thought you were about to say, that sounds like Harry Potter shit.
isn't
Like casting a spell over here.
isn't Gilgamesh a guy? That's what
You
I
got
know.
it. Well,
Yeah,
you're
he's a
half
guy,
right.
you
He's
know?
a demigod.
Yeah.
I think there was an epic story about Gilgamesh.
Oh,
No, it
be?
wasn't an epic story. It was an epic of Gilgamesh.
Now,
And
I'll
then,
give you a quarter of a point because that was actually that's actually well researched. That's very true.
And what about the Odyssey with Odysseus?
Oh well, he knows it. I'll give Ryan a quarter of a point.
Oh,
That was
quarter of a
Gilgamesh
fucking.
was in Odyssey? I don't know.
No, he's just shouting out the
Yeah,
other
yeah,
word
yeah.
that I said.
Oh, okay.
That's
Yeah,
like
no.
the only two, and then I guess maybe the Torah. I guess I don't know. I've heard.
Anyone know what the Torah actually is, by the
No.
way?
Supposedly the Old Testament of the Bible. Half
Close.
of it. Supposedly.
Well, not supposedly, because it's wrong.
But those who are wrong suppose
Take that
it
point
to be
away.
that way.
Ah, yes, okay. It's the books of Moses, the first 5 books of the Old Testament.
Oh.
Isn't that funny?
Really?
Those are the ones supposedly written by Moses. But I bring that up because what I found about all of these, which are ancient texts, by the way, for those of you who didn't know, these are literally the most ancient of wisdom is hidden away in these texts, and I left out a few, so forgive me, spirits. But the moment of silence. But what really brings this together is the fact that I noticed something, and there could be an easy way out of this, but maybe not. The fact that these books don't really formally have authors, and if they do, we know nothing about them. You could say the Odyssey, and everyone, of course, knows the first word that comes to mind is Homer, my man.
Yep.
That's a quarter right there.
Thanks.
And but what the hell is Homer? Dude, I had a teacher in high school who said Homer could be like a club, like a group. It could be a senate, an early Greek conglomerate of sorts. It could be a guy. It could be... We literally know nothing about Homer. This guy who wrote supposedly two, Iliad and Odyssey, of the most famous ancient books to come out of the... Actually, it was even like before the Great Age of Greece. It's very interesting. You guys have any thoughts about that? The fact that like we know nothing about these ancient authors. There was no back of the book where they signed their name. There was no biography written about them.
It's their name has only been around until the people who know of them are gone.
Ooh, third death status. And that's only some of them. I only shouted out Odyssey because that's one of the names we know. And the same thing with the Torah. It's said to have been written by Moses. But do we know that to be true? Nah.
Well, it's also too bad that people didn't go by first and last names at that time. Because you could say, like, oh, Socrates, Papadakis. But, like, you could have been talking about Socrates... Himalayas.
You never know. It gives that incentive to like really name your child very uniquely. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Socrates, like who else is gonna? I don't know. Fucking
Hopefully no one else
Socrates.
has it.
Yeah. Back when people were more creative and shit.
Yeah,
too.
where did a name come from?
Where did a name come from? Whoa, I mean that's deep, Ryan. I'll give you a quarter.
God damn it.
This is a quarter point show all of a sudden. Because that's deep, right? When did we feel the need? I want to say in the early tribes, maybe even early humans, before they needed to... There wasn't enough people to differentiate between them. You didn't even need to differentiate between them. It was just like that guy. I know you because you're standing right in front of me. You know who I'm talking to. I don't really got to distinguish.
And if you're out of town, you just say of this town.
Boom! Damn it! I'm going to give another quarter right there. That's
Nice.
hot.
How much do you
Shit.
think names like influence our lives? And do you think like what do you think of the idea of like letting the kids or the newborns get to an age and choose their own name?
That's a cool one, too.
I've thought about this before. I don't know. I think it's an interesting...
You think... Are you asserting that it'd be a good idea for kids to choose their own name when they come
I was
of
just
age?
wondering
I think
in
they
general.
do that in Native American cultures, actually.
I feel like there has to be
He
some
who
people who've
dances
done
with
this, yeah.
wolves. They'd go based on like what you actually have done, what you're doing,
Right.
what you did. Yeah. He likes to swim in the river. Imagine that's your name.
Swim in the river guy.
Swim in the river guy.
Listen.
That'd be the modern equivalent.
I don't know. I think it's interesting. I feel like names do influence a lot of people's lives. There's like,
I feel what you're
just
saying.
think
yeah.
of all the people who meet up with just names. I don't know, Ryan or just stuff. They have like
Right.
people like conventions where people just meet up as Ryan.
Yeah, and how people
that.
even think too. Like
That's me.
sometimes I'll be like, "You don't look like a Marco to me."
Yeah, or Karens now. Just things have been
Oh, you
memed
poor
to hell as
Karen.
well.
One of my friend's aunt's name is Karen. I'm like, you're just right? You're just dealt a bad hand. Sorry, girl. You know, you may like it, you may not care about the cultural stuff, and dope. If that's you, good on you, Karen. I know a lot of people who like Karens. I'll have you know.
Yeah, other Karens.
Their shit's working. Dope.
Damn.
Sick. Oh, they're Karen. Oh, man, Ryan. That's a quarter point. That's pretty funny.
We love Karens here.
We love Karens. I think we're a Karen positive show. They keep order where the weak men don't anymore. You know what I mean? I think weak men have sort of stood by for too long and bowed down to the women, but the Karens are like, oh, hell no. No, that's the Shaniqua.
It's true because because a lot of men are wanting a strong woman because they're not strong.
You think so? You think people
so.
desire what they don't have? The opposites attract.
Yeah, I think I would assume sometimes, you know,
Sometimes. When would they not? That's interesting.
Because, like you said, that there's the strong woman and not really a lot of men are strong.
Yeah.
That's why, you know, you got a weak little thin man who's like, I need someone to protect me.
A partnership, a conglomerate. I think that makes a better Disney cartoon than it does a real life relationship. Yeah. I can see some big fat like Lizzo ass looking bitch with like a skinny dude and she's like the strong woman, but maybe he's got all the smarts.
Yeah.
Don't steal my idea. Trademark. But so we branched off with names a little bit, but what about this idea of praise, about credit? You know, some say back in the day that let's take the books of Moses, for example, the Torah. Some say that prophets wrote the book, but just gave credit to Moses because they didn't want it. And he was sort of a patriarch, not the patriarch, but one of the big guys. It's like, okay, that spirit gave me the spirit of Moses, and I postulate maybe the spirit of Homer, whatever that is, that archetype gifted me this story, and I'm just playing it out. It's very interesting.
Yeah.
And you had a lot of time to really you were so much more in tune with life back then because you really didn't have as many distractions as you do now. It's like writing could have been as fun as playing the hottest new video game of the year or something.
That's a big one. I think about that often when you're just like doing nothing or wasting the day. It's like, hold on a second. Before they wouldn't have a TV show, they'd read a book. Yeah. And 9 out of 10 times you're probably becoming more intelligent. If you don't, if it's a fiction, you're still learning words that you didn't know before. You're still expanding your knowledge.
What if Homer was, I guess, you know how basically like the CEO always takes credit, or like, Miyazaki made Dark Souls all by himself. Right.
Whoa, that's a deep one.
What if that's like just the Homer situation? What if there was
that's a full point.
Team of historians, but Homer was like, no, Homer wrote it.
He was just in the audience listening to them debate and discuss.
It was the richest guy in Greece at the time who was just like, wait, I'm glad I thought of it.
You said point or half point?
Give him a full point. But that was a good one, Poach. He's catching up.
Kind of branching off of that a little bit. What if, like, who was the first person to tell someone, like, hey, you should put your name on that?
Oh, yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah,
I like that.
No, it's about the art. I just want to stow it away in my room forever.
But,
so those are like the two sides. That's deep, right? Deep, guys. Deep couch. Look at you guys. Yeah. Hidden away in your recording studio bunker over here.
We never leave.
That's why you guys got so much knowledge. Okay, you got 10 screens in the background.
We're being surreptitious out here.
Oh, Evan gets one. Oh. I guess the rules up until now have been if you use it properly, you get a full point. So you guys got to catch up.
Let's review that one real quick again.
Surreptitious. What was it, Marco?
Surreptitious means something done in secret, stealthy, or sneaky manner.
And that's what clandestine is too?
Oh, yeah, they are.
It's very
it does
similar,
say here
right?
it's similar to clandestine, and that involves actions taken discreetly.
Can you ask the robot to like distinguish or differentiate, maybe?
Poach trying to revoke my point. He's like, can we review that one more?
Yeah, wait a second.
I didn't know we could take away points.
So clandestine emphasizes the secrecy and hidden nature of the meeting, suggesting it was intentionally kept hidden from others, and surreptitious highlights the sneaky and inconspicuous manner in which she performed or I asked to use a sentence.
Interesting.
Distinguish.
Surreptitious is more of the sneaky one, more of the like, I don't want you to know aspect. Deep.
Well, we're in our underground bunker recording studio, not wanting you to know.
Yeah.
So
you can't know.
I guess the fact is, that either work. That's why I chose 2 today. This is a special day, first 2-word day. And I think that helps you remember them better, too, for the listeners and everybody. Watchers, this isn't radio. You could actually see the word. But it helps you remember. Oh, clandestine, surreptitious.
Clandestine is something like you do as a group in like a hidden hideout, and surreptitious is like a spy agent kind of thing.
Oh, that's cool. That's a cool image. I like that.
It's like the difference between a samurai and a ninja. They're the same, but they're different.
That made me laugh. That's a half point.
Boom!
We're killing it over here.
What other show do you learn vocab on?
Yeah, right? I'm telling you. That's why Ancient Wisdom is different. That's why this is popping off. I'm telling you. Guys, we have been exploding with subscribers. Remember to like and subscribe. We got 2 like the last couple weeks. So, I mean.
Damn, that's pretty huge.
That's
obviously,
pretty huge. We'll get our plaque soon.
Yeah. Get that warmed up for us, YouTube.
We're gonna
Put it on the printing presses.
We're going to get that plaque soon. It's going to go right up here.
Have you guys heard about this idea of the bicameral mentality? You ever heard this phrase?
Never.
It's something that I've known for a few years now. I didn't know there was actually like a word for it, but feel free to expand on any of these. But the fact that, especially in these ancient texts, there's a theory that tries to explain the lack of praise or self-affirmation. And the bicameral mentality means something to the extent of back in the day, they didn't even have the same consciousness as us. Now, this is just a theory. This is not proven by any means. But I kind of feel what they're saying, and I want to get your guys' take on it. They didn't have the same type of consciousness because all of the narrative was written as, let's say, a God giving you information and you listening to the speaking voice and obeying. As opposed to now, which is a more insightful personal thought, personal responsibility. And that probably, they say the change happened at like the Bronze Age collapse or like early Bible era. Just even the difference in how they speak, I thought that was very interesting. And the fact that it's tied into credit and like whether they even take it or not.
I don't know if this will make sense for this, but
we're getting deep.
Think of it as like someone... way back when built a house, and then they're like, oh cool, I built a house, now I can live here, this and that. Now people these days, they built a house and it's all over TV because they want to they want to show people, oh look what I can do, like it's, you get someone who just built it because it's like a self, like I feel good now that I built this for me, whereas it's like nowadays people build something where it's like I feel good but I want to show you how good I feel about doing something.
That's interesting. I would say like I would translate that to like civilization almost, like now that society gets bigger, you almost want to show off, you want to be the alpha, you want to have that role, whatever it may be. That's pretty interesting. I
feel like I want to take this back to something I said last week in terms of consciousness might come with a sickness.
Oh,
that
nice.
we become like super hypercritical of ourselves. I feel like you just see it happening. Like we've gone so far in the past couple hundred years, but yet like we've grown to really hate ourselves as of late. I feel like I don't think that existed as much back in the day because we just acted what we thought was purely, you have a thought, you just go and do this thing that you feel like is right. Now that we are more evolved, you can say, we can like really be critical of what we do, and that's probably our own worst enemy.
That's deep. That's very interesting. So what I hear you saying is, I get a fair point. The nature of the flow. There was less sort of impedances maybe in the ancient past that were blocking us from feeling perhaps the flow state.
Yes,
that's what you're 100%. Getting at. Yeah. I really think that's like a big part of it.
Definitely no constant phone notifications.
Yeah, for sure, right? And even just the fact that most of these dudes didn't even sign their work, let alone giving it to Moses, giving it to, Homer. And Gilgamesh actually is another dope one. I kind of want to do like the Tao Te Ching and even break that down into chapters. I wouldn't read the whole thing, but maybe come in with a summary and do that as like a playlist on Ancient Wisdom as well. I feel like that could be super fun. It's literally, Gilgamesh is the first book that we know of ever. It's Sumerian, ancient Sumerian. So that's before Babylon, that's before everything. That's the first one that we know of, mostly because Torah can't be dated because there's so many of those. But and it's freaking sick, man. It reads kind of like a Greek tragedy. You could really see how all the cultures combine in that sense. But I just thought that was very interesting. Obviously, you guys don't feel the same, but the fact that like credit over history and that our minds have actually changed and became perhaps from this bicameral mentality, or maybe we just had more reverence for the gods. Maybe we were more in a flow state.
And it's like, what made us even want to start thinking the ways we do now, where we want the credit, where it's like we have to have the credit. We need
taking it to
that
modern
credit,
times,
you know?
Or else.
Yeah.
Give me the tag in the corner.
Exactly.
Make sure you shout me out.
I want my special little fucking stamp to know that I matter to something on the internet.
Yeah, I want 10% of everything you make. Okay, Deep, I'll give you a half point for that, Ryan, because that's sweet, because that brings up the modern sort of aspect of it.
Yeah.
Flipping it on its head, it's like, why do I need so much credit right now? Because even these ideas that I come up with, I'd be foolish to say that like these are even my ideas, because so many times I feel like they're just gifted to me by God, by the Spirit.
Yeah.
Ooh, I heard a fun one this week. Let me know what you think about this. The theory's going around, and I have never even thought about this before. I took it as a given that we need humanity to create consciousness, but there's sort of this theory, I think I heard Russell Brand or something talking about it, that consciousness had existed, call it God, call it whatever. It had been a staple of the universe, but then, Marco's feeling this?
I think I've talked to you about this.
Oh, tight. And then humans sort of came into being to be the radio, if you will, the receptor of this message, this signal, this spirit, whatever it may be.
I wouldn't go as far to say as we're like radiating.
I wouldn't go as
some like
far as to
or some
say.
radio or grabbing the frequency or anything. But I've often like thought like if people think of multiple dimensions and stuff like that, like multiverses and all that thing, there has to exist then something that contains absolutely everything, and that everything is probably what we experience as consciousness, like something. I don't know, infinity basically. Just
you like talk about like the Jungian collective unconscious.
Yeah.
You think that has always been? You think that was sort of like an entity of sorts?
I think it's just existence. Like if there was nothing, if the universe didn't
That's trippy.
exist,
That's very acid.
there wouldn't be anything.
Marco hasn't gotten a fat point, so let's give him half a one.
That's why I just believe that humans are above animals in every single way because we've tapped into that consciousness.
Some kind of what's promisos?
I mean,
but there are some
animals, okay?
There are some really smart animals out there. You know,
Sure.
they're not all smart. Like all humans aren't smart.
Well, I mean, to be
give 'em
fair,
some
he's
time.
not saying smart. He's saying different, special, above.
I think we're the only ones that have a concept of what an afterlife could possibly be. Something beyond this.
That's a
life.
good definition.
True. I agree.
there are some weird behaviors of animals, though. They grieve. They go back to visit like graves and stuff like
it's
that.
true.
They have some
Oh my
kind
God.
of understanding.
Marco,
of
I didn't know you were a
something that's
communist.
There was a gorilla. There was a gorilla that spoke sign language.
Now I know.
Right. I heard that was BS, though, to be honest.
Really?
Thing with someone in a suit.
Yeah.
happening.
Bro, I saw this video of the Chinese zoo. It was clearly like an Asian
Apparently,
guy
they just look
in a
like
bear
that, though.
suit.
Yeah,
I swear
see
to
that.
God.
I know.
We have to
It's
bring
so
this up. Maybe I'll
irregular.
clip it in or something.
The
What were you
body
saying?
shape was so
Have
irregular.
you seen it, dude?
It looked like it was sagging in the back.
Everyone
Why have we
saw
all
this?
seen this?
Wait, that's so funny. Must have been going around the loop. Dude, that was a man in a suit.
Why would they? What for? What ends?
Yeah.
Yeah, why would they
They
need
can't
a
afford
bear?
it. Maybe there's like...
This is our biggest zoo day of the year.
And the
We
bear
need a
died.
bear.
And the bear died. We need a bear.
We need a bear stat. The closest one
Skin the
is
bear
in
and put the
India.
skin on. Jesus. Yeah, I've seen that, man. It's straight up because like the hands, it's like mittens, like little
Dude,
gloves.
His little legs are like this big, and his big body is like this, and it has
He skips leg day.
ruffles. Yeah, he skipped leg day.
and they're
Clearly
saying
that
it's the type of bear it was, like a Chinese
bad.
whatever
Because
bear.
I was just saying black
Red.
bear, but maybe
dude.
that's
Yeah,
how they
they're
say it's its
saying
own species.
Yeah, it's its own
that's why.
species of bear. Where it's like, because there was another time where it was like a bear that was deformed, so it had to stand on it. And this has been all over the town and in people's trash. Like it's got a bum paw and it like walks like on its hind legs, kind of, and it's
I
because it
think-
can't do that.
I think those motherfuckers in China only have panda bears.
Yeah, I
and ever
agree.
since Trump was in office, we had an embargo on zoo animals.
Did
so
we?
they can't get a black bear. So they decide to make their own. This should be in Within the Walls, but yeah, right. But that's what I think happened.
Quick, play the intro.
Trump's like, you're not taking any of our animals. We already gave you all the farmland. That's to come. That's a foreshadowing.
What they should have done to make that even more like an actual bear, put like a fat guy in it.
Dude,
put a sumo wrestler. Put a sumo wrestler.
If that's
in
a real creature, Lord forgive me, but dog, yeah, it didn't even look close.
Show me a video of another one.
Yeah.
Of a group of them.
Okay, yeah.
You know? There's no way they can afford that many suits.
Chinese bears, yeah, get at me.
There's no reason for them to fake a bear.
Yeah, dude, I'm telling you. Maybe they don't have black bears. It was so fake, bro.
I don't get it.
It was so fake.
Oh,
Money.
Man. Yeah, that's what it is. That's what it is.
It was a big day. Honestly, you were joking about it before, but I think that's exactly what it is. This is a big day. It's like peak summer. Everyone's off school.
Yeah.
Little Chinese kids want to do something. Their mom wants to get them out of the house. I'm sick of these fucking Chinese kids bothering me. So they take them to the zoo, and they got too much. You can't even fit them all. You know how many people in China? Dude, China is like about the size of America, and there's over 3 times as many people.
Jesus.
That shit is crowded.
Wow.
Oh God, I'm like doing all my topics in one air, but that's how it goes. Damn. Should we move on, guys?
Sure.
Let's challenge some theology. When the world was young. Imagine? No. Speaking of the Torah, though, one of my favorite stories, and like anything in Genesis, it's always so abbreviated. It's like too abbreviated, almost as if they do it on purpose. Like the Cain and Abel story was like a few paragraphs. The story of the Tower of Babel is like a paragraph, but everybody knows it. Everybody talks about it.
Yeah.
Do you know it, actually? That's my next
No, but isn't there like
No,
a lot of stories that are like that are just really small things, but then super exaggerated?
It's meant to be understated. Because I think much like the greatest style, the greatest art, not this modern art shit, but it's all understated. It doesn't need to be flashy like this hideous set I have behind me here. Just kidding. It's classy. Things are where they need to be.
But you take something like this for a current time, and then you take something like a Mona Lisa, where it was just a simple painting of a woman.
Michelangelo's David. It's like it's just one thing, and it's perfect. Every detail was hammered out, and that's sort of like the ancient stories. Do you guys remember the Tower of Babel? You guys know anything about this? No.
I know it was destroyed.
So they say. It still exists to this day. I tell you, it's out there. I think that might even be one of the ancient wonders of the world, potentially. But most of those were theoretical anyway. But basically, it's really quick. The story of the Tower of Babel. Poe, you are RC mofo. I love it.
You some bitch.
Basically, after the time of Noah, the whole world was one language and few words. That's an exact quote from the Bible. Now it's Mitch going on. One language, few words. So after Noah, as you know, and his ancestors, he was like the last dude, so he populated the earth. They moved to the west a little bit and started this big city. And at the center of the big city, they made a tower that was supposedly to reach the heavens. Oh, that jittered now too, shit. And the fact that happened, God said this line, and I really like this line, when they were starting to build the tower to the heavens. This is only the beginning of what they will do. Nothing that they propose to do will now be impossible. And just after that line, God says no. Boom, he snaps his fingers, and everyone's speaking a different language. That's where the word Babel comes from. You're babbling, Tower of Babel. Nobody understood each other, and he dispersed the people into the world. And they just throw that into the Bible. They just throw that in like one paragraph, but everybody loves it. Everybody talks about it.
I think that solidifies more the bigger the event, the fewer words needed to explain it. Like how sophisticated can you explain someone died? It's just like they're dead.
Oh, deep. I like that. What more do I got to say?
Right. No, as in like just saying they're dead is like traumatic enough.
Yeah, right.
You see someone dead. Oh my God, they're dead.
Yeah, like you get it. Like what more can I say?
That's all that can be said.
Yeah, that's a really good one.
Tower is destroyed and no one can understand each other now.
It's just interesting. Like, break it down. Like, all right, so we all live together. We all live this family. We decide to start a city. But what happens with the city? I want to build a tower that reaches heaven.
They were too powerful together as one. Just like perfect unity just kind of broke it. Like they probably could challenge God essentially.
Oh,
yeah.
So he had to like
now we're getting somewhere
break
deep.
us apart, and it kind of makes him sound evil, to be honest.
Oh,
or I guess you can be fun and say it's a test if you can come back. Then you can come and challenge me.
Well, you bring up a lot of things. What do you think it actually is?
I mean, I think that's the crux and
the crux
fun
of the story
of the Bible.
Yeah,
like, it depends what you want
being
to believe.
laconic.
Right?
Ooh, bringing it back.
Yeah, it really just whatever you want to take from it.
Yeah, because like I don't know. There's so many themes, right? Like, why does everybody got to be together in a city? What happens when we get everybody together in a city? What if it's not talking about the city? Come on, guys, be deep.
What happens?
What
when
if
you get
it's
everyone
really
working
the
on a
mind
problem together?
What if the tower
Unison.
reaching the heaven is?
I've said that one of the problems I feel like we have as humanity right now is that we're not working towards a new great problem, like collectively.
Yes,
as,
he's often
as like
said
a
this.
whole.
I can attest.
I feel like that has scary implications for what it would take to actually achieve something like this.
Right.
But like, if we really wanted to, I think all of humanity pooling their resources to solve problems, have like a special division on more can of worms. But still,
Marco was the one that announced the project of the Tower of Babel. He was, God, let's make a project.
Yeah, if we all come together.
Probably, to
God,
be honest.
God was over here. Did I invite you?
No, bitch.
I think that's exactly what it is. It's just yet another story of humans trying to match God or be equal to him. Like Adam and Eve, they bite from knowledge. In Tower of Babel, they're trying to ascend to heaven to be at his equal.
So
to
what
some
you're
extent.
saying, it's a reoccurring theme in the
Right.
Bible.
And anytime humans try to get to that state of power where they think so highly of themselves, he smacks you down.
Yeah, that's like science. They try to keep pushing science more and more to be like, no, it's not God. We could do this of our own selves. Blah blah
Oh,
blah.
wow. Oh, my God. You know what, Ryan? That's a fat
That
halfie.
is fat.
Boom. Like
And Marco gets a half, too, because that was pretty deep.
like I'm
Is that
not
truly divine. Sorry.
like it's funny to say, but like there that quote, how I don't remember exactly how it goes in Jurassic Park. Think of it like that, where it's like they're playing God, because
Yes.
they're bringing these dinosaurs back
I guess
to
that
life.
answers your question, too, in that sense, right? Like you said, is that even godly? But I think they're trying to be God. I think some sort of famous scientist in the past, he wanted to look at the face of God. That's why he studied science, It's just like you're narrowing it down. Of course, science is fake now. I'll be real. I don't know if I can say that on YouTube. But back in the day, you had to cut out the bullshit. And guys, I get it. I'm human too. It's tough being wrong.
Yeah.
It's fucking tough for everybody.
Yeah.
Everyone's gonna make fun of you. Everybody's gonna say you're an idiot. But if you know and you're close to God, that's why also science was really tied in with God when it first started as well. It was called natural philosophy.
Wow.
It wasn't even called science. When Newton practically invented science, he wrote the Principia, which was the Principles on Natural Philosophy. It was philosophy, the word was right in it. But you wanted to talk about it, and then pretty soon, you're doing experiments about it.
Wow, just the nature of things.
The
Natural
nature of
philosophy.
things. Isn't that interesting? It wasn't even science. They didn't even call that till 200 years ago.
Yeah, and the thing about the nature of things, it's always up for debate. You can't definitively say, because then you're at God level again. That's why there are so many problems the past few years with certain biomedical technologies.
Maybe the reason we split is because science is more based on the idea of the scientific method and asking,
Yes,
having
we've forgotten
your
that.
steps, right? So you have to ask a question, propose an experiment, take data, and make a
prove
conclusion,
it. Yeah.
right? So I guess science is supposed to be that this is the data we've collected based on questions that we've asked, and here are the results, and that's it. That's all it's supposed to be.
Right.
Now it's your turn. Retort.
Yes. Until it becomes bastardized and it literally becomes like this House of Cards, maybe, yeah, literally, where you just want to stack the next brick. You just want to make sure the tower reaches heaven, and you don't care about who you hurt, if you even should. How about that one, right? We do all these things, but we don't ask ourselves if we even should. Remember what God said. This is only the beginning of what they will do. Nothing that they propose to do will now be impossible. God said this. Humans can do anything, but should they?
I mean, if we can do anything like he's saying, then that means yes.
Ooh.
That means we're supposed to think.
I love Marco's character on this show. I swear to God, what's the word for he commissioned the Tower of Babel. Marco's ancestors was like, I got this. I mean, come on.
Well, it goes back to the credit thing too. It's just like, I feel like the early scientists they didn't want credit. They wanted the accomplishments just for the sake of the accomplishments.
Yeah, even just keep.
And then saying that, like, if you even tell people, they'll be like, "Oh, who cares?" You know, they don't like, that's, they're like, why, what's the point of me telling people and saying, hey, look, I just wrote this thing, I wrote these stories, I purified water for the first time.
Right.
Like, and what if you get people like, I don't care. But
I get, that's deep. I like that. That's a half point.
But now you tell now you are trying, now you can tell everyone because everyone's listening now.
Yeah.
Because things have changed where people want to hear what
well,
they
no,
want to
I don't
hear.
think they do. Honestly, I'll fight you on that one because I just think in ancient times that everybody was a boomer. Everybody was your dad who hates art.
Yeah.
You know, everybody was just like, what are you building the well for? We got perfectly good water.
It's true.
You know what I mean? Like, if you did anything fancy, like carve a statue, they're like, what are you carving a statue? There's better things
with
to
rocks
do.
And the Vex
And Vex.
Dumb
Why
moment.
don't you grow a tomato like your brother?
Dumb moment here, but like the who was the one who painted the cathedral ceiling or whatever it was?
Michelangelo.
Yeah, it was also Michelangelo.
Didn't not a lot of people give a shit about that at first?
I can't say for sure, but
You know, because like
that's
he
a cool
painted this
story.
whole mural and they're just like, no, okay.
He was hired by
Commission, yeah.
either the religious order in Rome or politics.
Those were some of the only dudes that would pay. You think that people were drawing religious scenes because they loved God? Sometimes. But most of the times, the church was the only place with money. They're like, paint me a portrait.
Yeah.
And that's
I
why
don't know why I'm doing the Jew voice.
That's why I placed like the
They did temples.
Devils.
What's I forget the name of his piece of art, but that's why that wasn't destroyed, because it was a testament to God, not competing with God.
Which one were you talking about?
Michelangelo, Sistine Chapel.
Oh, yes.
Michelangelo.
Yes,
That's a piece of art, yeah.
And I learned recently that Leonardo da Vinci, his, you guys remember The Last Supper? Maybe I'll put that up.
Yeah.
That was commissioned.
Was it?
Yeah.
Someone was
he
like,
didn't paint that for fun. Someone's like, hey, this Last Supper thing. Why don't you paint me a picture?
You know,
and
Jesus.
I heard it was like hung in a stable, like a barn.
Wow.
For years. Yeah. And then they're finally like, of course, then a dude dies.
And then
it's the old trope, and then it's priceless because he's never going to make another. But that's what it takes. So that's deep, because going off that line, death is what it takes. It's like this ultimate thing.
Oh, yeah.
Where, you start taking this dude seriously, because whatever they may have done, they're never doing it again. Yep. Whatever art exists, whatever albums they recorded, there's only 10, and there's only 10 on Earth, and that's all there's ever gonna be.
And I think that will be, if there is a downfall of the AI art, because it still doesn't have that human touch. Like you can.
What would you say is the human touch?
Man, now I can't even explain it, because
I can't put it to words. It's so deep.
AI could do something totally unique, and so can a human in terms of artwork. At least.
I would say, sorry, Poe, you go ahead.
I didn't actually think we would get to this topic on this discussion, but if now that we're talking about it, it reminds me of something I saw recently. So there's a recording. It's not a real recording. It was made by AI, but it's David Bowie's Space Oddity. You know, Ground Control Major Tom.
Wow.
But it's sung by John Lennon and Paul McCartney, and drumming is done by Ringo Starr. Wow. They never recorded that. And it sounds just like them, dude.
I don't even know how they do. That's crazy. Yeah. Well, actually, so that's a good point, right? To add to Evan's thing there, it's like I get the feeling, and I actually kind of know for a fact, that unless you pay for the Chat GPT 4.0 or unless you pay for the Mid Journey, whatever the hell it's called, you're not getting the top tier stuff.
No.
I guess what I'm saying is AI is even way better than we even know right now because it's still in the research labs, or it's a paid service, or you're getting the lesser version of it.
Because this like kind of shits on what I was gonna say. I was gonna say like you can tell the difference between a AI made thing or a human made thing because like you can tell more of the effort put into it that was made by actual physical hands. You know, like something that was made from AI was slapped together within seconds or minutes. You know, and they're just
For
like,
now.
all right, this
For
is
now, that's a
yeah
good
for
point. I was
now,
gonna say
for
something
now.
like that, yeah.
But then it will come to the point where you won't be able to tell like, oh, was this a person or was this an AI?
That is a big
That could
question.
that could be a new Tower of Babel too. It's just like,
Deep.
why are you trying to mimic?
There's a half.
Thank you.
Bringing it back
I could think
around.
of,
A 3D
the
printed
robots,
Babel.
The two AIs talking to each other about the language. Everyone was unified.
Oh, yes. Yep.
And how
They shut that shit
they
down.
shut that down real quick.
Yeah,
Shut that
that was
shit
like
down.
us creepy,
doing the
man.
same thing that God did at the Tower of Babel.
Oh, shutting it down. Whoa. We have become gods to the AI.
Oh, now the
We
AI
shut
is.
that shit down. Whoa, they were flying too close to the sun. Icarus, any number
Oh
of...
shit, dude!
Wow.
But the beauty of art, I don't know why someone would have wanted to make AI do art, because the beauty of art is the fact that it's made by human hands.
It's cheap. I mean, I wish I could get deep about it, but I think that's probably the bottom line. It's like, I don't have
Right.
to pay you now.
Oh, there's
Yeah,
so many
you know.
benefits to it, like all the industries that we
This
thought
show.
would be hit weren't
all
hit. Like,
AIs.
but a lot of online strippers and like e-girls and stuff
Yeah.
are getting beaten by AI models, and the followers don't care.
And there's this
Oh,
thing
yeah,
going
so
around.
Fake
like
women,
that.
and they
Good,
get more
yeah.
followers than real women.
And then
Oh,
there's
great! If that stops the demand
Yeah.
or the supply
I'm all
of
about
like
it.
pornography,
Yeah.
I'll let the AI robots win, because
Yeah, go for it.
it's going to smart dudes who developed the AI.
Women are going to
as a-
start reading books
I feel like this.
to catch up. I know Gaston's not going to like
I feel
that.
like this slowly
Hashtag
started.
Gaston did nothing wrong.
I feel like this slowly started with like the deep fakes. You know, when
Yup.
people would like crop a person's face on a different.
Yeah, first
like,
it's just face.
yeah, and now it's like actual physical. Again, that's why these writers and actors are going on strike, because all this shit can be done with just CG and AI.
First time I saw Fortnite, I knew the porn was coming fast.
Fortnite did it for you, huh?
Because it was already there. I mean, it's practically there. Just change like a color, and that you see a bitch's ass.
Oh yeah, you're right.
It's
Oh,
skin
it's
tight.
right up on the ass.
Yeah, yeah.
I feel like that's a lot of video games though, because now it's like there's
You
a
got
game.
to compete unless they're like feminists. What was that one
It's
with
not
like
an
the
accurate
ugly
depiction of
Listen,
women's
I'm
bodies.
not proud of it, but the two games I play the most right now, that they just know how to do that.
How do they
Yeah.
keep you?
I literally just spent like hundreds of dollars just
Yeah.
for one character, just because.
So
Her
that's
ass and
deep,
tits are
right?
showing.
So that brings up like another thought that I have too. It's just like you need two things for any art, any podcast, any whatever, is that you need to draw them in, ass, but you need to keep them there as well. Right? That's the old phrase. It's just like, well, the jokes bring them in, you know, titties bring them in, but they stay for the conversation.
When you see sexual advertising once, it's just everywhere. Just like every ad.
Oh, when
I
you
see,
realize it, you mean? When
Yeah.
you see it?
every ad on Instagram, I guess, just like
Yeah.
immediately tits, but it's about like a VPN or something.
yeah. It's always
It
tits
just
now.
doesn't even fit. That's a good half for
It's
it like
always
that.
tits.
But it's so real, right? I think I have this very capitalistic view where I says I physically can't hate anybody making money who get it. You know, sex sells.
Yeah.
I get it. You could say we could legislate that stuff out so it's not seen. And, you know, we could talk. We could have a separate conversation. That sounds great. But, like, I can't hate somebody who legally is not breaking the rules and is making money. Kim Kardashian, yeah, I hate who she is and what she does. But do I hate her for being the richest bitch on earth? Nah, not really. She's just doing her thing.
It's an admiration.
Like Kanye
for,
said, that's just Kim being Kim.
it's just admiration for good sales.
Yeah, sales.
Sales tactics.
true.
Good
I don't know why, but I do
persuasiveness.
respect sales because it's
Yeah.
psychology, is it not?
Right.
Sales is psychology. Give me what I want. I want it now. I want it fast.
And that's like, especially
like
like with the Kim Kardashian, you put her name on it, put her in a commercial, women want that.
Women,
You know,
women
want that. Or something with like a dude in it, and it's like a famous guy, and it's like, oh, he's got that. I gotta have it now.
Yeah,
you know.
And yet they just get the shallow, empty shell.
Yeah.
Hollow as their own souls. We were talking about on the way up here how just like nobody can afford Kim Kardashian's plastic surgeon. Mm-hmm. She has the best of the best. You think you're gonna look like her? Only your sisters can afford that. Yeah. Nah, you're gonna get some shitty lip fillers and look like Lil' Kim. That's Ryan's joke. I'll give credit to him. That's a half point for Ryan because I stole his joke. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, obviously it doesn't look good. Madonna, she looks like a freaking monster alien right now. Maybe I'll throw that up on the screen.
I saw a meme where they
put do Lil' Kim.
They put they put Roseanne Barr next to Madonna, and then it was like if you had a time machine, went back to the 80s, and said Roseanne Barr would look better than Madonna.
Yeah, that's wild. I've seen that one.
Wow. Yeah, she was like all fat and
I've seen that one. You should put that up too. That's fucking
Roseanne's a crazy meme,
dude. Okay, I'll throw that up.
And Roseanne's actually looking very pretty for like an aged woman.
Absolutely,
like,
dude.
Yeah,
I
non-altered, just regular health and happiness.
A lot of these people from back in the day are looking better now than they did.
Well, dare I say, guys, some people in this room may not like me, but when you're close to God, when you're close to the Spirit, dare I say, have a little bit more flow, a little more sort of conservative values, you stay young. Why wouldn't you? A child is literally close to God. If you fight that every step of the way, you know, let's not even take it to God. Stress, physiological impulses that cause you to age quicker than you might have been without. And Roseanne seems to be an OG. I like her. But that goes along, guys, with the Tower of Babel in the sense that it has no connection at all. But I did want to talk about this. Centralized power. Nobody said anything about that. Like World Economic Forum, One World Government, globalism. It's centralized. They all came together. And what did they do? They challenged God himself. I did the joke before. It's like, I didn't invite you.
That's true.
You know?
But then what happens within that group, one of those said groups are like, you know what? Let's try to form a different group with more people to take out this one.
Yeah.
You know, so it's like a never-ending kind of thing.
So it's almost like God was just buying himself some time.
Yeah.
In that
he's like, stop.
Explanation. I like that.
And then they were like, no, we're going to do it again. He's like, stop.
Yeah.
You know?
That is interesting because he scattered the people. But what's to stop them from building their own Tower of Babel?
Exactly.
And like, how many people is too much? Is there too much? We were talking about
also what I said on the way here because traffic, Thanos was right.
Yeah. Damn. So that is a good one because that is hilarious, and to a degree, I agree. To a degree, I agree that I agree. But I gotta say, if I'm being truthful to my heart, I think there's plenty of space on this earth, but we just choose to build the Tower of Babel. We choose to go to New York City. Mm-hmm. We choose to live this city life, but there's plenty of land. We just don't go there. Trump was talking about like making new cities. It almost sounds laughable in 2023, but that might be the greatest idea I've ever heard. It's like, we're gonna build new cities
because it's true. There is a lot of open land.
There's land.
Stuff. It's like
even along rivers, and that used to be a staple of civilization.
Dude, the poorest towns in West Virginia, the family income is like $20,000.
Yep.
Because there's all abandoned coal towns where all they did was mine coal, and now their jobs are decimated.
Oh,
so it's just, but it is the most beautiful spot though, geographically wise. All these stores that were all popping at one point with the center of town, but the entire economy was people who worked.
Yeah,
with coal.
I know a few like that. I drove through the country. It's like, that's rough, man. And it's like, yo, instead of giving to Ukraine, why don't we invest in our own shit? I know I'm preaching the choir, but God, that sounds dope. If we put some businesses, they put a Starbucks in that town for all I fucking care.
All you have
I don't like them, but it's stimulating.
All you have to do is tear down and rebuild back up.
With all that coal right beneath their feet too, and we have the cleanest coal scrubbing technology.
Oh yeah.
And then start making diamonds.
Yeah, and even without that, like I think about the road systems and stuff like that. Like the biggest problem I heard about, let's use Washington, D.C. as an example. It was made, much like many cities, it was made for horse and buggies.
Yeah.
The roads are retarded.
Massachusetts. A lot of places in Massachusetts, they still have the cobblestone
East Coast.
roads. Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Very colonial.
Yeah.
But does not work in Boston.
No, not at all.
So now that we have cars and stuff, it I wish I could say it more eloquently. It does not work.
And you know what you said years ago about how messed up the highway system is and how we're confined to such a small route? I heard people say that like the highways were set up in a way for the masses to not know about the real locations that are not accessible from the interstate highways where like global leaders can meet and stuff and go off the beaten path like far from the highway, and the highway keeps you very confined to only very specific parts of the land that is the entire country.
I wouldn't doubt it. Even if you go in the reverse, like maybe they made something because it was far away. Both rings true. Like that's perfect.
Right.
And
if you have a secret headquarters, you don't want it to be like right off exit 68.
Yeah, no way.
Underground.
I had this joke, like I think in America they say the phrase is always like, he lives on the wrong side of the tracks. And everybody in America knows what that means. They get it. This side of the track is always much better than that side of the track.
Watch out for that side.
Watch out for that side.
Don't hang around those tracks.
And I granted that we needed the railroads hardcore in early America. We needed it. It's too big. I get it. It's huge. We needed railroads. They were very integral. But we don't really need railroads anymore. They're just becoming bike paths.
That's true.
Most of them. 90% of them are just fucking liberal bike paths.
They're all abandoned.
Only liberals use bike paths.
Yeah, only liberals. Bikes. Get out of town. And but then I think about sort of the... the parallel with Japan, where it's almost all trains because it was built later, so they had the more advanced technology. They don't have to rip up, they don't have to spend the money to tear down, so they continue to build. They already had like the good technology when they were ready to go, and on top of that, like everybody uses the trains, mostly I think because the roads are heavily tolled. I don't know, like they don't want you to do it, they want you to use the train. And this is what I'm getting to, is the point that in America nowadays, if you live by the train tracks, you don't want to live by the train tracks. But in Japan, if you live by the train tracks, you can't afford that shit.
Golden.
It's golden. Yeah. Did you know this, Ryan?
I didn't know that.
Yeah, it is hyper expensive because it's so accessible. Is it because everybody takes it?
Is it because they have those really crazy looking trains, like the bullet trains and shit too?
Facts, that's part of them.
So it's like you gotta pay here like this because
everybody uses it. I'd say.
Yeah, because exactly because they live right there, so it's so accessible to them. So they're like, oh, now we gotta fucking pay you, bitch.
Yeah, you know? Yeah, and they almost make it happen, but it works because it's such a small country, I think.
Well, basically, instead of building like everything around the towers that we're building in these cities that we all drive our cars to get to, they build around the subways or the trains because that's where everyone goes. Right. So it makes tons of sense, right? Just to build your city around, I guess, the train system.
Like, are you saying the secret government bases are far away from the train?
Oh yeah, no, that'd be like
underground trains.
Sure. Oh, there it is.
Not the subways, but like below the subways.
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 But
I swear there's
another staircase just somewhere on the platform.
Why not? You can see the genius engineers like, guys, listen.
Let's make
that's like
there's a staircase that goes.
Besides, down. Like China as being a big city or Japan, they have to take the trains. The only other big cities in America, I would say, that use a train is Massachusetts and New York.
Yeah, and if anything, East Coast, especially the Northeast, New England, but there are still cities, if this is your point, that just use it locally.
It as exactly.
Because Chicago's not bad, I will say. They got a public transit system that it works, but it wouldn't work anywhere else.
Like I would feel like because those are where the trains were, like, because they were big cities, so that's where the trains kind of started, as you can say, like.
And it's not bullet trains too, because bullet trains go fucking hundreds of miles.
It's a bullshit train.
Oh, that's a half point right there. It's not a bullet train; it's a bullshit train.
Yeah, man. The bullet trains seem luxurious, where these ones smell like piss.
I think we were supposed to get like insanely fast trains.
We were
when Trump was in office, but they shot him down. And he was about to create like super trains that went from the west to east coast in like half the time of airplanes or something like that.
I will say it can work. That seems totally great, and Ryan will love it too because it would decongest the highways.
Yes.
But it goes back to my point. I think the funding is so mismanaged in America, and I think that's why we have to change the subject here and let Poj guide us through a little something that he dug up in dose of reality.
I like this one. You make these as well?
That beat's so hot, I'm gonna finish it one day. Just make it into a track, throw it down.
You should. You should make long versions of each of these.
Yeah.
And then put them out and be like, here you go. You can buy our soundtrack.
Or merch.
Buy our merch, guys. AncientWisdom.com.
Ooh, soon.
Coming
Soon. My mom's got a press.
That sticker too.
My mom's got a press. We can make shirts.
Oh shit! Are you serious?
Yeah.
Okay, we'll talk. Guys, I got a question. What is going on with my school?
My
Skew.
Oh, sorry, I meant to say country. What's going on with our country?
Oh.
It just seems like there's one big. We don't have a ski. There's one big secret after another, which is one big distraction after another to keep us from the truth. Conspiracy? No, it's not. Bro, we're being fucked. Like all the time.
Yeah.
And they're doing it purposely because they know we're fucking stupid. Like, what can I say? But I'm going to toss it over to Poach because he's been doing some Ancient Wisdom investigative journalism here.
Thank you, Mitch.
But of course.
So, what I wanted to bring to your guys' attention is China.
China.
How much, I don't know if you guys knew this, but it's not illegal for a foreign country to buy land in the U.S.
Really?
Wherever you really want. You don't have to be a U.S. citizen to buy U.S. land.
Really?
So China owns more farm. You guys are worried about, everyone's talking about Bill Gates buying up farmland to do some kind of whatever genetic experiment. China owns more land, more farmland in the U.S. than Bill Gates.
Bro.
Wow.
China actually doesn't even own the most land of all the foreign countries in the U.S. There's actually 10 more countries above China.
Above China?
Wow.
You gotta be that also own more than Bill Gates.
You guys, and also more than Bill Gates.
Wow.
Bill Gates is at the bottom of this list.
Okay, so that's fucked up because I was already mad about Bill Gates. I gotta say, I was already pretty pissed off about that.
How much does he own?
But
I'll tell you.
Fat chunk. He's gonna tell us. I'll toss it back to Poach. But I just think that's amazing that we didn't even know. But still, even though Bill Gates is the ghost, the phantom, that
There's way worse.
There's so much worse.
Wow.
So let me get the Bill Gates number here because I was down here. So Bill Gates owns almost as much U.S. agricultural land as China at around 250,000 acres.
Wow.
He owns 250,000 acres.
Bill Gates and China each have each have about 250,000.
What the fuck? Why?
Acres.
Why are they letting
How many
China
acres of
buy?
farmland are there?
Your
Does
grandpa owns one.
Do you guys want
Maybe.
to
Maybe.
get
Maybe.
this? Who owns the most land? Canada owns almost 13 million acres of United States farmland.
Canada?
Yes.
Probably
Netherlands?
up in
What are the
Maine.
top five?
The Netherlands,
Yeah.
Italy, the UK,
UK. That's
Germany.
and Germany.
Oh, I get Germany.
And then we go down the list: Portugal, France, Denmark, Luxembourg.
Luxembourg.
Very rich, small country.
Yeah.
But I guess they're killing it in U.S. farmland and Ireland. So I don't know. There's millions of acres here if you add it up.
Wow.
And those are ones I didn't expect too.
Yeah.
And you don't. They don't.
Europe.
It's their land. They don't have to sell this food to the United States. They could export it back to their own country. Actually, Saudi Arabia does this. Saudi Arabia grows wheat in I think Nevada or Arizona. And then they export it back to Saudi.
Wow. So if you randomly go on a plot of land, you can possibly be on another country's land.
I was about to say maybe it's a dumb question, but is it sovereign or is it like they still have to follow our laws, right? But they
It's
just
U.S.
own it.
land. They're just a real estate owner.
Oh,
in the
okay,
United
I see.
States.
I was gonna say,
Yeah,
like,
makes
do they
sense.
like? Is it like?
This is all of a sudden there's Sharia law once you cross this. No,
It's
It's
like,
like,
what
they have
the
to farm almost. Like they have to have some kind of output, maybe.
that's probably what it is.
Do-
That's deep. Yeah.
do we-
Sponsored by Mercedes?
Do we do this in other countries as America? Do we have land in other countries?
Military bases is a huge one.
Minus
but not
military
farmland, I don't think.
Take away the
I think we just
military
buy
bases.
everything.
Yeah.
We just
We'll
buy
buy
it,
your
yeah.
grain. We don't need your fucking land. We got
Wow.
land.
Yeah, exactly.
We're
You
the
said
ones
it
that
very
do
well.
have land. Same thing with Russia, I imagine. I'd be curious. I don't think anyone could buy Russia land.
Because
I'd
like
be-
my buddy
to
owns
know.
some land in Scotland, and he had to become something through the country in order to buy his land.
Was something like a citizen?
Yeah, like a duke or some shit like that. Like he had to.
Did you see the ads for?
Oh, the scam thing? Yeah.
Buy this plot of land.
No, he literally bought it. He fucking went there
because he owns like a square foot. I think I've seen something like that.
No, he like has this small little house on some land. He went there one year and took pictures. I was like, he's like, I had to go through all this crazy to become like a more than a citizen kind of thing. And I was like,
I'm curious as to what that entails or what that means or is. Not a citizen, but like you're a little more, a little less than a citizen.
Something like, because you're not from there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't know, man. That's crazy.
I saw you took a class.
I looked this up in Japan.
That's probably exactly what happened. What's up, folks?
I looked this up in Japan. In Japan, you cannot buy land without being a Japanese citizen.
So in Japan, you can't buy land.
They don't allow
be Japanese then.
Without being
It depends on the
citizen.
country. It depends on the country, and I guess the United States just loves money that much.
I would guess that more than not say fuck off, dude.
Yeah.
I mean, this isn't the same, but I know that you have in Israel you need to be a Jewish citizen to do any governmental role. But in America, we also don't have that rule, let alone land. You could have two allegiances. They don't put it this way. I'm putting it this way. But if you could have a dual citizenship, let's say Israel and America, like Chuck Schumer or something like that, that's totally fine. Even though you have literally an allegiance with another nation that could be our enemy, whatever it is.
That's like Schwarzenegger was governor of California. He wasn't from here, but he was a citizen here, but still, you know.
Right.
Imagine
I'm probably a little more afraid of the senators, but yeah, any governmental role.
We're talking about that, bitch.
Yeah, well.
Imagine what our national debt would be like if we hadn't sold that land to foreign countries.
Wow.
It would probably be like double or triple.
That's
our
deep.
debt right
That's
now.
a quarter point. Yeah, that's big, man. If we didn't even do that, because that's a lot of... Did we just China and Bill Gates own 250,000 acres, and even that's not...
Yeah.
Did we just do that because we have excess land and we want to like pretend to help these countries?
So
that like we probably
that's
have
a half point.
Lands and things like Canada surprises me because Canada's pretty big.
Yeah.
Right, but it's probably so cold up there they can't grow certain things. So come here to America, use this land. But don't forget, you own a lot here. So when we ask you for something... you better shut the fuck up.
I gotta say,
we'll break your fucking legs.
Yeah. Start. Wait, get Evan doing this. he's giving him a little something.
And that's why
piece of his mind.
China just, instead of like just muscling the Africans with all the diamonds and precious things down there, China just says, "Here, we'll give you a shit ton of money."
Yeah.
Instead of in that way. America's liked less in that exchange because we just muscle and say we're gonna F you up if you don't give us your stuff. But China just says here's a lot of money,
right?
and this will bring your town or village out of the crisis that they're in.
Facts, and even that, it's just such a shitty investment because you said the right word, brings them out of the crisis that they're in, because whoever was in power at the time gets all the credit. Guys, I brought us out of our deficit. Guys, I made a new partnership with them. By the time you get all the credit, and yet you pass on the blame, speaking of blame and praise, to everyone else down the line. That's half the reason why our country's fucked, is because we were sold to the Federal Reserve over 100 years ago. It's absolutely insane because it benefited a few people at that time. Yeah. And now we're left paying for it generations later. Bro, I did the calculations, and my great grandfather couldn't have done anything about it. America was already bought and sold by the time my great grandfather was born.
Speaking of your numbers, I was just, while you guys were discussing and jumping around shots here, I actually added up the millions. I think it's over 30 million acres.
Wow.
Is there? Can you look at that up?
That was going to be my next
like
thing.
from like looking at a map, I wonder how how much that is.
What's the slice of that? Yeah.
Like if you look at
all of Texas.
Yeah, it's ask AI that. Show me a topographic map of
how
the
much?
USA if
like 35 million
acres
for
so there's
how much
close
land
to
is
900 million acres.
Wow, so 9.
So they
is not
divided by
owned by America.
No, that's how much farmland there is.
There is.
Yeah.
900 million?
900
I guess
million.
that's a
And there's
small
how many?
fraction in the scheme
Oh wow,
of
that's
things.
4%.
Yeah. That's
4%. You said? Oh, okay.
That's a lot.
They own
Yeah,
4%.
but still, that's like
it is.
intense.
But that's probably
that's
like
just
that goes
getting
back to what I was
worse.
saying. We probably just did it because we have so much.
Yeah.
Why not get some favorite with these places? Let them grow whatever niche thing they want to grow.
Damn, but do you think it's just favors?
These are the kind of
think
places that are not accessible on the highway. You know what I was talking
Yeah.
about?
There you go.
Oh, dude.
Yeah.
Fuck
Chinese
secret
farms.
bases, dude. The
You can't
secret
find
Chinese farms. Yeah. They make sure it's fun.
Oh, they're growing.
Guys, we don't talk about
They're
the
growing
secret,
underground.
Some Alex Jones shit. Yeah,
the good
they got
stuff they grow for like
subterranean base.
Well, I'll bet you that they fly in
They
their
go to
own.
subterranean base.
I bet you they
for the
fly
really
in
good
their
stuff.
own people.
Yeah, for real.
They don't hire Americans
Right.
to work on these farms.
Oh, that's
Oh,
a
for
big
sure.
one too.
You
They-
stumble
they-
upon the wrong
yeah.
place. You're walking into a dude with a gun going like, "Hey, so
Yeah,
Like
bro.
Breaking Bad, they hired the German engineers to work on
Yeah.
the lab underground.
I remember
Do you think
stories
that
of
the Chinese worker would accept a lower pay on the Chinese farm than the American worker?
Yeah, the pay and just like, especially the Chinese, they like to keep it in the family, man.
Oh, I missed something kind of important there.
What's that?
Total land and farms decreased 1.9 million acres to 900 million acres in 2022 versus
that's what we
2021.
do.
So it was
Farmland.
2.7 million acres prior.
Say that again. What does that mean?
Total land and farms decreased 1.9 million acres to 900 million.
Okay. They didn't lose
900
that
million. So okay, so never mind. We
Yeah.
we lost 1.9 million. Never mind.
Okay.
much. That's in the
others.
noise
92
with this
instead of
data.
God damn.
That's so
So we
crazy
lost
to think
the
about. Like, I would have
techno
never thought about
Yeah.
like, oh, this country owns a part of this country.
That is pretty insane. The purposes, the reasons could go on and on, but it is interesting. Like, just to even think about favors back and forth. I like to think like the Canada thing. They're the number one, right? Canada?
Yeah.
Insane.
13 million acres.
I gotta say, maybe that does make sense. We give you a little wheat and soy. We get that arable, the drillable,
Maple syrup.
the drillable maple syrup.
They're gonna give us the Canadian
You
bacon,
gotta give us the
which
good
is
stuff.
just
That
ham.
great egg.
I mean,
What
I trade
else?
2% for fucking maple syrup.
Dude, that's some maple cream.
Maybe it's
in
a
the
good deal
fridge.
after all. Maybe
Oh.
we're just conspiracy theorists. Come on, guys. This is totally fine.
I love maple cream. I have
Yeah.
some. So
God.
good. I'll just eat that with a spoon.
All right,
man.
Canada, you win this round.
Damn it, Canada.
And that was theirs. That was the French territory, I guess, at one point in America's history. That's why so many towns are named French.
Is it American history then?
Yeah, they speak a lot of French in
Montpellier.
Canada.
Oh.
Is that New Hampshire or Maine?
Probably Maine.
I think it's Maine. That's
New
the
Hampshire
capital.
was French?
I think Concord is the capital of New Hampshire, but no, Montpellier.
Montpellier.
That's Vermont's or Maine's capital. I forget.
Yeah.
I think that one might be Vermont's.
They put
Okay.
gravy on everything.
I'm curious.
I
That's
ordered a
interesting.
sandwich. I got gravy on it.
Oh, that was it.
Oh.
Poutine.
No, it was a sandwich.
Yeah, as it gets north. No,
was just
Evan,
a
you're
sandwich.
wrong. It was a fucking sandwich.
It's a turkey club. I put gravy on it.
Yeah, what's
gravy
so
all over.
confusing about
It
this?
came on a plate. covered
Eat it
in
with a
gravy.
fork and knife.
Yeah, I'm not joking.
You guys ever have poutine though? That's so.
I
want to.
once.
I would like to.
Yeah, it was
I went to
good.
Montreal.
Oh, Montreal, hell yeah. Halifax, what? Have we got to the bottom of it? Canada wins this round.
Canada wins.
You win this round.
By
You win this
lots,
round,
by
Canada.
lots.
It's not often, but you still have your queen on the money. She's dead. So take that.
Does that affect Canada?
It does. Dude.
Oh.
They're a bunch of bitches, dude. They never fought for independence like we did.
No?
They were just
Wow.
given independence, and we're just there, and we're like, Queen's like, you better put my fat face on your money.
Well, there's a lot of Indian tribes, if you can use that word.
Native American.
I guess there's a lot of Native American tribes.
Indigenous.
Yeah,
I think that one might be
people.
worse.
they had to
Indigenous
fight them.
people. That's true.
They had to fight them in Canada. It wasn't just an American thing. I'm sure they were just as ruthless up north.
Yeah.
Canadian cowboys.
Oh.
Scalpers.
Draw your gun, eh?
Say too.
Your racist phrases do not reflect well on this show, but I can't control what you do. I could only control what I do.
That's big of you, Mitch.
Thank you. Thank you. This has been a deep moment. Ancient wisdom. Guys, I want to move on because we got to the bottom of it. I need to find out some definitions. Marco's favorite. So it says on the grapevine. Define definition.
See, you gotta extend these, man. Make a fucking hit list of these.
Yeah, why not, right? Make them pull out. Another strange one, but I think we could find some depth in here if we look deep. But very simple, but as the deepest things, like the double subway. They could be a simple concept in theory. The other day, I was chilling in the kitchen, as I normally do when I have my greatest thoughts. And I don't have air conditioning, so mosquitoes got in. Naturally. I know, he says I could relate, bro. Ouch. Quarter point, I like it. Hilarious. And it took me hour, maybe over an hour, to kill one. I ended up killing two. So
were you like Walter White with the fly?
Dog, yes, it was Walter White with the fly. I couldn't concentrate.
Oh,
This
man.
fucking thing. Schopenhauer says noise is the most distracting, is the most like piercing thing to the intellectual mind. Not calling myself an intellectual, but just somebody who thinks, right? And I finally killed it after almost 2 hours, Walter White style. And dog, more than any idea that I had, I felt good. I felt really fucking good. I killed the prey. I wasn't going to eat it, but like, God, I got vengeance. And then it really just, I was dwelling on it a little bit. I was like, should I feel so good about conquering the enemy? Like, sure, he was out to get me, but I noticed we do this a lot. We other, right? Like Evan talking about human beings being above the other animals, as is the Christian point of view, and maybe many religious contexts as well. But it just really hit me that I says, like, when is it okay to have this vengeful mind, if ever? I'm curious to hear what Marco has to say about this. And why is it that we other people? It's so easy to just other somebody.
It's easy.
I mean, just self-preservation, right? It's all, at the end of the day, the only thing that matters is you.
Right.
And if you want to be that way. But
See, I can't control what you do. I can only control what I do.
Facts, man. I'll give it a half. That's fucking dope. Evan's killing it right now, I gotta say. But so I thought about this, right, to get the ball moving. I don't know if you guys are inspired yet, but I'll keep it going. I think about this often too, that everybody talks about Hitler, right? That's a big phrase. It's a big phrase. Everybody talks about Hitler now. He's practically famous again. He's so popular. But if you really think logically, all right, all the racism, whatever aside, we'll get to that later, don't worry. It's like, dog, Stalin killed 6 times as many people. Stalin, they say, killed estimated 20 million.
Yeah.
And then Mao in China killed double Stalin.
And then Leopold in northern Africa somewhere, I think. About 20 million.
About
also.
20 million as well?
12 to 20 million, they say.
Okay. Even all those supposed numbers are still bigger than the supposed numbers of Hitler. But sure, there was a war, and there's a big distinction, too, that those were communist leaders, and this one was supposedly fascist or whatnot.
be expected, I guess.
Yeah, right? So it's just like, a big role is like marketing, but then I realize our thoughts are marketing. Everything we do, everything that happens to us is marketing. We could other somebody so easily. I could kill a mosquito and not feel anything, but maybe a Buddhist would come at me and say, Mitch, that's life.
Yeah, I was
You are
going to say the
destroying
same
life.
thing. It's just like, it was nothing personal. It was just the
Nothing
mosquito was
personal.
impeding on your way of
Yeah.
life.
Wow.
And he was draining your essence. That his goal
literally.
is to drain your essence.
Man.
So it's like, that's what probably an animal would do. They would see no problem in killing.
Right.
You wouldn't
Is
say,
there a
keep
difference?
going, get a nice drink.
Yeah, go ahead. You drink up. You deserve it.
Yeah.
You deserve it, King.
pal.
Yeah, go.
I feel like in your examples, it's really easy to make these people out to be the bad person.
Yes. I say
Hitler's like
marketing.
a perfect villain, bad guy, boss for World War II.
And he looked so damn good with those Hugo Boss.
And a mosquito.
Fuck, he looked good.
Fucking mosquito, right?
God. Yeah.
Easy to other.
Marco could appreciate that. He's
well.
a fashionista.
They did dress well, that's for sure.
Yeah, facts, right?
And I don't like how there's very few ways of hearing what he actually said. You just hear angry German.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
I would
true.
like to know sometime.
But that's another
are
thing
there
that I don't buy
recordings?
too, right? Everyone always says, "Oh, German sounds so angry." I don't know.
It does.
I don't know how I feel about it.
I agree.
I've heard it. Maybe they're just
When I was living in Serbia doing the med school thing, two of my friends were Germans, and every time they would talk to each other, they'd be like, "Dude, you just fucking sound so pissed off right now."
So does my mom.
I
It's not,
Everything she says is angry, but then she's like, "I'm not angry."
yeah.
And I believe her. She is. It took me like 20 years to realize she's not mad. She just talks
I
like
can
a German.
I could say I think Russian sounds more angry than German.
Oh, you think so?
I do, because it's
Interesting.
more I feel like it's more aggressive because like
I think it's all BS.
I think the more different is than something. That's another other thing. Languages. The more something
that's
is
deep.
different from you or other to you.
Yeah.
It's like we don't get as weirded out by Spanish or French because they have the same Latin roots, but like Russian and German. Well, I guess German's Romance or whatever.
they were the bad
Germanic,
guys.
yeah.
But Russian is just like so foreign. They don't
So
even
foreign.
They don't even move their tongues in the same way.
But it's weird.
No,
yeah,
yeah.
deep. Okay. So, but then there's some that are okay and then some that are not, right? So everyone loves to say America's a melting pot and you can't be racist. But then it doesn't make sense to me. Someone make it make sense, right? That we hate Hitler more than we hate Mao for some reason, even though the numbers are different. But
Because
also,
we
we live in the same country, this melting pot, but even though maybe you look at a black or a Hispanic or something like that, they're clearly very different than you, even just visually. They don't even have to open their mouth, but it's just like, oh, we look down on some, but sort of not others. It's very interesting that we get to pick and choose. And I'm calling out your hypocrisy, world, especially America. Like, you can other whoever you want, and whoever has better marketing just wins. Like, if I get more people on my side, your side is the bad side. And it's okay if I hate you stupid conservatives because you're intolerant. Bitch, you're just intolerant towards me. There's this endless hypocrisy that nobody even talks about. Intolerant of intolerance. Who's to say I can't hate somebody because I want to? You hate plenty of people, bitch. Get at me. You don't know. I own a section called You Don't Know. Even right now, think about that, right? I'm talking really loud. Maybe like Mom, maybe like Hitler. Someone could hear this who doesn't speak English. Oh my God, that guy, American sounds angry.
Dude, it goes back to consciousness being a sickness of some sort. Like you just question everything, and then at some point, like you start to get angry, and distinctions are made, and all this ugliness, and then it just goes back to: do we have to have that one government system, which I think is super dangerous?
Tower of Babel.
It just comes back to the Tower of Babel story.
And
It does.
and like how you just said, you're getting louder. People are gonna like respond to that.
Yeah.
Just like how Hitler would scream in his speeches, people responded to that, positive and negative. So
Yeah.
it's like I don't know where I
And
was going
another
with
thing,
that.
it's like if you're trying to inspire troops to like defend your people,
Yeah,
or
you
whatever,
have
maybe
to-
like you think you're not gonna sound angry. It's like I mean, you know, Marco's regular friends. I mean, them sounding angry, I don't know personally, but I'll take his word for it. But yeah, I don't know if they're killing your people, you think you're not gonna have a little bit of passion in your voice? I don't know. There's all these arbitrary distinctions, and I don't know. My assertion is that it's just marketing. It's really just marketing. We can't go.
I'm gonna say it's
I agree.
education system. Like I didn't
Okay.
learn about Mao or Stalin really.
That's
in
a deep
history.
one. I like
I
that.
don't know
Give
why.
me
it's
we had
true.
no personal
It was mentioned.
investment there, though.
What's that?
We had no personal interest in that. We weren't involved in a war against these people, right? So
Okay.
that's a big one too. Like we were there,
Give these guys half points. That's fucking
and we
tight.
fought, and we killed people. They killed us, and that's it. That's it.
So that's interesting. You know, it's hard to say because we're so intertwined with every country, but I don't feel like the modern man has been worked up about China. And even right now, especially, it's almost racist to call anything against China. There's certain countries you could talk shit about. Russia.
Yeah.
Talk all the shit you want
Yeah.
about Russia, and then
Yep.
some. Threaten violence, which is against the First Amendment, believe it or not.
Because wasn't it?
But not China.
Wasn't it John Cena who had to apologize?
Yeah, that's
You know?
right.
Chinese.
Because we have a vested interest and we're making a shitload of money off them. And
I think it
apparently
might
them
be,
us.
I think it might be like America's plan, like say for Russia, like now it's okay to say anything bad you want about Russia because we already decided
we've decided
which side we're on.
CNN has decided.
I don't know if America officially has decided on our stance with China. Like,
China.
I know, like, it will come to, certain things if something happens in Taiwan, but I feel like the official stance on U.S. versus China, like, we still have investments in China. We still do business with China. Like, they have farming land in our country. Like, I don't think we actually, like, decided our actual status.
We don't even know. We're sort of. If this was on Facebook, it would say it's complicated.
Yeah, it's complicated. Exactly. That's what I'm getting.
It's like, play nice, China, please.
China, what's good with you?
So that's why you haven't heard
girl?
about them in the history books. We decided about them. The German Nazis. We decided about them. We have hard decisions.
Yeah.
We know where we stand with those groups. Well, so we wrote books about our thoughts about them.
I would highly
history, right?
What?
The winners write the history books, right?
Oh, that's a deep one too.
I would highly encourage it to explore the publishers of history textbooks for public school systems and stuff like that.
Yeah,
might come up with some interesting information.
Anything.
Don't take
I
my
gotta
word
say,
for it,
what the communist?
That's one word.
Anyway, let's move on.
Kids don't know how to look at publishers at the back of the book these days.
But yes, to what Marco said.
Yeah, that is a big part too, Poge. It's like nobody cares. They take what they're given, and that's the marketing, right?
Because there are no more books these
Whoever
days.
Screams loudest on the right side of the track.
Wow. Oh man. Wow. That's deep. That's a good one. Holy
don't go
shit.
to that side of the track.
Yeah, don't go to that.
There's bad stuff over there.
Bad stuff. You won't like it. Wow.
Or like the cave allegory of the cave. You don't want to go outside, even though paradise and life itself is out there.
Yeah. Whoa. Even when the guy comes back from paradise and says, "Guys, come on, you're really gonna like this."
Missing out up there.
It's
you're
like,
missing out, bro. They're like, "You're dumb."
Yeah.
It's like Pet Cemetery. You don't want to go down that road because that road down there leads to danger.
But in that case, you really don't want to go down
Yeah, don't go down that road.
I guess that's true.
But yes. Yeah, it's just like, I think much like the scientific method, we've forgotten how to have a conversation really and just accept people's difference, even though there's all this preaching of tolerance and this and that, but at the end of the day, it's just like nobody can accept. Let's use the huge one, because why not? That the Germans were fighting for their people. Oh my God! Oh my God! It's just like, sure, did they do some bad? Everybody does bad things, but like, that's the big one. That's the biggest taboo. That's why I said it's like, we can't even put ourselves in those shoes. And that's very strange, because that even goes back to a bicameral mentality, right? Like, people just act. There's no flow state. And when you have flow, much like the Tao, you can identify because you are. There's no separation. But all this thought, all this education gets in the way. I think schools are dead. Universities are dead. I wouldn't tell my kids to go to them. I wouldn't tell anyone with a mind. I'd say tear it all down. I don't know. I'm radical.
Maybe.
Get rid of it. Teach them to fucking grow so we can get that farmland back from China and Canada.
They get agricultural degrees, but they don't know how to.
Yeah,
That's
they don't
weird.
do anything with it. Yeah.
Isn't that not weird? You got to go to college to learn how to farm.
Yeah.
Bro, throw seed in the ground.
You'll never pay off that debt.
Yeah, right.
Oh my, yeah, with
you're
your
a farmer.
buy land.
for,
with
Canada.
the debt that you have going to school, you could use to buy land and grow, and then boom, there's your fucking money.
Yeah. Go on the internet. But to quickly touch back on the World War II thing, I just think it's weird how Japan is totally eclipsed.
Oh,
in the
there we
story.
go. That's
In the
exactly
story
what I'm
of
talking
World War
about.
II, it's just like,
It's true.
who made that decision?
Because
Yeah.
they've been really nice to us.
Japan's quirky dog, so was Germany.
Goes back.
I saw the Oppenheimer movie.
I know what they did. Yeah.
But it's just weird how one side is more sensationalized, even though you could argue that Japan's methods of torture were like way worse.
Oh, hell yeah.
Than anything the Germans.
The fact
did.
that I don't even know like that the general's name. It's like makes such a difference. Nobody could name the Japanese general's name, or
It's like 8 syllables.
Yeah. Well, I guess that's it too.
I'm gonna
It's
say
very
it's because we
different.
decided our opinion on them. America
Yeah,
decided,
you even
and
made-
we don't.
Marketing.
I hate Germany
Yeah.
more.
But you know what's funny too? I will say real quick before it's that it's strange that we as America attacked Germany,
Yeah.
but it's even worse because Japan attacked us. Wouldn't
Right.
they be worse? They were the aggressors in
Interesting.
that situation. We're the asshole in the Germany thing.
Good point.
But they're sort of the asshole from Pearl Harbor. But sorry, what were you going to
So
say?
Poach says we made our stance. You made the distinction earlier when you were speaking. You said Nazi Germany.
Yeah.
There's a difference between Nazi Germany and
true.
Germany, right?
True.
So like we made our stance on Nazi Germany, and then we look at current Germany as something entirely different.
But then you'd have to see like what were the similar goals of Japan and Germany. Like, could you have called it Nazi Japan? At the time, like
Nazi
what were
Japan.
what were their motives in the whole thing? I feel like
They changed it to Imperial Japan.
oh okay, well I know that they tied a verb or like proper noun to the Germans, but
And it's very scary.
Japan.
Scared
They're
Nazi.
scary and
That's a scary
intimidating.
word.
They're,
I want
they're a
to.
fascist
I want to
country.
touch back what Poach said way
But
earlier.
communist. What about that? I guess there was no direct connection, but sorry.
I want to just touch what Poach said earlier about how I think you were about to say we didn't learn about Stalin or these other people as much as we did Hitler.
Right.
You know, we
Yeah,
we
the
chose.
system, yeah.
We like the people chose to focus more on him than
you're
all
saying
this other shit going on.
indoctrination.
Yeah.
That's a deep one. That one's really good because it's so true. Like I always make this joke about public school education. You ask me, Mitch, what'd you learn in K through 5 or whatever? I know who Martin Luther King is.
Yeah.
Dude, am I lying? Nope. The only thing I remember from 6 years of stupid fucking education besides wasting my youth in a dumbass classroom, which is not designed especially for boys, but young children in general, to sit down, shut up, and do what they're told. It was made by, I believe, the Rockefellers to get people jobs and get them working, get them educated so they could do this higher labor jobs after the Industrial Revolution that needed a little more know-how. So they actually taught you back in the day. But now we've been indoctrinated to know we do.
And then most of these people who do go to these schools don't do what these people are telling them to do. Like they can get their degrees in this and then do something completely different.
Dude, you can get your degree in fucking anything.
Yeah.
I got a
NYU.
gender
You can make it up.
studies.
Oh God,
That's why-
that's coming
Oh,
soon.
that's right. You can even make it up now.
You joke, but that's real. It's coming soon.
God, that's insane,
That's
dude.
not a joke. You can do that right now.
No, I'm telling you what he said about gender studies. It's,
Gender
it's,
No,
Stories.
that's what
It's a
my-
thing?
Yeah, I think
That's what
that's
my that's what my
what's your?
sister did.
Oh, they're Catholic. I say you're Catholic.
Wait, we got a real live reference here.
Dude,
guys. Marco,
she
tell us
regrets
about
it so much.
Oh,
it's
man.
actually kind of hilarious. She
Jeez.
went to NYU. She didn't want to be friends with anyone with a different opinion than her. And all this stuff, right? Studying gender studies, wanting to make change, whatever. Fast forward a bunch of years, she regrets doing gender studies, wish she had done something else. Thinks the past thoughts of not wanting to be friends with people of different opinions is stupid. And actually has been preferring dating like more conservative leaning people and stuff like that. Even if she may still be more liberal in her ideals,
But she
prefers the stability and something that she had
Maybe someone who can
towards,
kind of
like,
keep her in
conservative
check a
people.
little bit.
Yeah, almost in a sense. She wants like stability is the word I heard her use, and I feel weird every time she says that because like there's like this narrative that's not okay nowadays.
Yeah.
Right. Like you're not supposed to think the man is supposed to be stability and what all this stuff.
Yeah.
But that's exactly what she's looking for.
It's just too bad the women can't realize 4 years before they graduate that they just probably shouldn't have gone to college at all.
Isn't that the tragedy?
Yep. Because it's just like, oh great, you figured out the truth, but now you've also got $80,000 in debt.
Huh?
For that stable man, the stability of that man will help reduce.
I would say I'm part of it a little bit too. Like I don't really use what I went to school for.
Me neither, dude.
Yeah, isn't that
I
interesting?
regret it so much. I wish if I had just changed one thing, taken 3 different classes, my life would be entirely different.
Wow, isn't that funny?
Yeah.
And it's so impossible. You can't go back, but is that lesson worth the $250,000?
Would you hit reset on your life?
I can't say that I would. It's tough when other people are involved and like maybe you hurt other people unintentionally or not. But I think there's sort of a flow. There's a plan. You learn what you need to.
That's a
in
good
time.
topic because if you reset your life, who knows if it's going to turn out similar to what you still want it to be now?
Are you even
point.
you, man?
Yeah.
Are you?
Because what if you reset life and it's worse? Or you reset life, or it could be good.
Well, if you can retain your memories in this hypothetical situation, you just
No, you can't. Just straight
suck.
reset.
You just know you
Yeah.
failed. You
darn.
got a shitty build or something on Dark
Yeah.
Souls. And fuck you, man.
God
Shut
gives
up,
you the
luck.
Dark Souls build.
If you get into the habit of resetting things, if you could do such a thing, I feel like you'd become addicted to it in a sense,
Yeah.
and then the problem itself will be resetting so much. You'll become so addicted to that. You'll be addicted to like resetting bad or unfavorable circumstances.
Wait, say that again. Reframe that. That sounds deep.
I feel like if you had the ability to reset parts of your life, you would overuse and abuse it, and your new problem would inevitably become being addicted to getting the perfect scenario.
Yeah.
I think I would like a quick save. Like if like I want a quick save now, so if I fuck this up, I can
at the casino. I do that in fucking Skyrim. Speaking of which, I'm a nerd. You pickpocket somebody and just quick save it back to so you don't get caught.
Yeah. I guess that's
you only have 5 quick saves for your whole life. How about that? There's a limit.
Ooh.
Where you're like, all right, something really big's gonna happen, but I got a quick save to make sure.
Quick save, and if I fuck it up, I'll go right back to where I was.
I think that's fun. I don't know.
Oh man, I do that all the time.
You do the 5 quick saves.
Playing God.
Slow to memory.
Yeah. Oh my God, you're right. Yeah, it's true. You wouldn't be your same self to a large degree, and like to have all these options. You're building the Tower of Babel. I'm gonna name this episode the Tower of Babel. We're building again. You're getting too close. Everybody wants to change things about themselves. They want to change this and that, but it's just like, who the fuck is you? That's my favorite phrase. Who the fuck is you? Who the fuck is? It's just like you don't got nothing. You don't know. And clearly, even the wisest minds of our past, even the ancient people, I will say they're definitely closer, but even they didn't know. And because to a certain degree you can't know, you can only point at the truth, as the ancient Taoists say. And that's why I want to get into Mitch Translates the Tao. You like that? Yeah. It's me being Asian. I really want to get that hat.
The rice patty hat. Yeah, you need a little gong.
Compose myself too. Yeah, dude. It could fit in.
Yeah, just right there, dude.
We'll make it happen. The Tao Te Ching, as translated by Mitch, Chapter 3. To not esteem virtue is to make people not fuss. Not valuing hard-to-get treasures makes people not act as a thief. To not display objects of desire is to not disorder the minds of the people. Therefore, the holy man manages to empty their minds, yet fill their bellies. Weaken their ambition, yet strengthen their bones. Always enabling the people to live without knowledge and without desire. Causing he with knowledge to dare not act. Acting without acting, nothing is neglected. There's always a lot there in the Tao, but it's deep. Did you guys feel that? Maybe if you don't catch everything, it's about. Mark was like, "Fuck this! I hate this section."
Now I just think of a Buddhist monk. I think it just perfectly described that.
So I came prepared today because the Tao usually leaves people speechless, which is kind of part of the point, and I had to realize that myself. But let's start off with not esteeming virtue. Right off the bat, it says to not esteem virtue is to make people not fuss.
I think that whole chapter that you just read, I think it's all about doing for others, because it's the essence of not propping yourself up. I think it goes along with
Tower of the Babel.
Babel. I think it goes along with that because it's you're all human. You really are equals at the end of the day. Yeah. So there's no purpose, there's no gain of propping yourself up too much artificially, and you might as well just prop up others.
Yeah, praise. Yeah, dude, that goes back to so many of our topics today. It's kind of magic how that all ties in. That's dope. What were you gonna say, Marco?
I mean, that's interesting. That you said that we're all equals, right? I was thinking the only way that works is like there's no distinctions between.
Leave it to Marco.
Right?
No, just kidding.
Such contrarian.
Go
for it.
But yeah, no, the only way something like that would work or be possible if people were all valued the same, not showing favoritism because someone can do something.
And you're saying they do, but we do. Don't.
We distinguish. We praise. We.
There's necessary hierarchies for sure.
That's true.
But at the end of the day, like our spirit.
The spirit
is the same.
We're all children of God.
It's true.
It's true, man.
throughout our bodies.
Ryan, did that just go right over your head?
Oh yeah, taking it in, man.
Looking all blankly over here.
Yeah, I'm
he's taking it in. That's what the Tao for. I can't blame you, so I came prepared for a few things. Not esteeming virtue, but don't we want virtue, Ryan?
Mm-hmm. Don't we want no virtue when you esteem virtue?
Oh my God, the virtue becomes
pride.
Phony.
Yeah.
Pride is a big one. That's also like a theme of today too. We didn't even necessarily hit that head on with the Tower of Babel, but it's pride. It's labeled many times in the Bible and in many ancient texts as the worst of the sins. Pride is the worst of all sins because you think you're God. It's the ultimate of sins. Like you could even kill, and maybe that pride goes along with that sometimes depending on motive. But it becomes something it's not if you do it for a purpose. I think that's a big one.
It's all about intention, and like the virtue
intention.
Thing. Yeah, the virtue. It's trying to be virtuous is in essence not virtuous.
Facts, dude. Marco, what do you think about intention? Because that's a big one. We talk about that a lot with sort of psychedelic experiences. To go in with intention. Give him a deep breath, folks.
To go in with intention.
Let him mull.
I mean, it's probably the most important thing, right?
Yeah. Do you go in with intention? I should ask that first.
With what? Anything?
Sure, let's say that.
Maybe that's the problem.
This is getting juicy here.
Maybe that's just like a...
Can I give an example, maybe?
Oh, sure. Let's hit it.
Like, what if you want to donate to someone who just got, like, a crippling illness or something like that, and you make a conscious decision beforehand, like, am I doing this because the ego gratification, or am I doing this simply because I want them to get better and I care about them?
Yeah, are you posting it afterwards on Instagram?
That's your answer right there.
And that's it. That's it right there. Because
wow, isn't it? That's actually pretty deep.
Because like someone can be genuine and, like you said, give the money and be like, "I want you to feel better," but then the person
I would like you to feel better,
and then you get the person who types a whole thing about, I gave this much money to help them feel better, and then a whole speech about themselves.
Put a placard,
you know, because it's about like me.
God says pray in private.
Yep.
He says go into the deepest nooks and recesses of your home, close the door, lock that shit, and then you may pray. On
GoFundMe pages, it has a checkbox at the bottom. It says, like, do you want to not post your name publicly on this funding page or whatever? Like, do you want to stay anonymous?
Nobody ever presses it. It's just rusty.
It's like people doing cobwebs and shit.
Nobody wants
to not be recognized.
I always like when it's anonymous.
What do you even put that there for? Yeah.
And the other Jesus Bible thing is when
Bible Jesus, Quran Muhammad.
Jesus, yeah. When the people were giving alms in public or something like that, and they were like showing how much they gave.
Oh, right.
There's some scripture saying, like,
the woman at the church.
That's another one, but this one is just like give in private, because the people who give in public, they've already received their reward, which is praise.
Yeah, that's right.
But if you give in secret, your treasure will be the
I think you might be confusing the two, but the same thing with prayer. It's just like if you pray in public, people see you as but same kind of lesson anyway, I guess. If you pray in public, then maybe you're like, that dude is holy. Exactly. Wait a second. This guy's getting pretty deep. He's close to the Lord. Maybe we should give him some money. But it's genuine. You're not esteeming virtue when it's just between you and God. Because that's also the issue of faith, right? The faith that God is good, but the faith that you're doing it with the right heart. And that you're actually talking to something. You could be atheist, but talk to something within yourself. Make sure you're doing it for the right reason. Now this seems to be blowing Marco's mind.
It's just flow state. I think we're just...
Flow state. That's a huge one.
I think that's what the whole paragraph is. It's just to exist in flow state rather than anything else.
I feel like this show is always going to come back to flow state.
That's what life keeps coming back to. It's what it wants to be.
Oh my God. All right. Episode 21 is our last episode.
We figured it out. There's ancient wisdom.
Wow.
Good run.
We got to the bottom of it. It's been a good run.
Good job,
I didn't think we'd make it that long.
It only took 21.
Yeah, that's right. But what about this? What do you feel about this? Let's go on, because this is tight. You guys did make a good out of that first line. Now, not valuing treasure What does it say? To not display objects of desire is to not disorder the minds of the people. My mind goes straight to, tell me what you think, ass and titties. Why are you going to display that? Muslim cultures have literally covered every aspect of the woman. And some might say they have a more ordered traditional society.
Because a lot of the girls these days who show ass and titties are making money off of it.
Sure.
And they desire to have that. Because also it goes to, again, a pride ego thing, because they're getting this money and all these compliments and comments and shit, and it's just building them more and more for them to show more and more.
For sure.
Marketing's really got you, Mitch, if you went straight to sex, because I went straight to money.
Oh, okay, deep. Interesting. I like
money
this. That's a half point.
Is desire. Just
Money
like the
is
concept
desire.
of creating money, I guess, is creating desire.
I guess I will say, so that's deep. I guess I took it to a modern. If I'm being real, my first thought was like a encrusted jeweled vase in ancient times, you know, like when he was writing this or something. I saw this beautiful thing that a shop owner puts in the window, and then of course naturally my mind's like, oh, that's like ass.
I guess so.
Oh, wait a second,
your shop.
that is ass in 2023.
Oh, well, yeah.
Holy shit, every website, every billboard, every TV show.
Isn't that crazy though? Like you said, it goes from a vase to ass. What happened?
It goes from a vase to ass.
What
Vase
the
to
fuck
vase
happened?
to ass.
Oh, boom.
Got some shape and
Oh, it's got some
Oh
shape.
my God,
okay.
it's a figure eight
That's a
and
half
everything.
point. Oh my God, we're getting too deep.
That passage though, I feel like, what was it again? The treasures. I thought of physical possessions too.
Right.
That like, say if I have a Ferrari or something like that. I mean, the point of driving that is to go off, I guess, and show it off. But
Facts.
I think you're trying to reduce the other person's jealousy. In a sense, you're trying to get rid of, it's a bad trait, so you don't want to bring something like that out of them, because you have that capacity to
When
be
you don't
jealous
have the
too.
Ferrari, you mean?
If you're a guy with a small dick and you buy a Ferrari, I guess.
Well,
I don't know. I would want to buy a Ferrari. Personally, a Lambo,
or a sweet car,
just
but you
'cause
live in a
it's
bad
sexy.
apartment or
It's
something.
beautiful.
Yeah. Oh, that's a big one too. We see that a lot.
Yeah, yeah.
You buy
Oh,
shoes
yeah.
you can't
Oh,
afford,
yeah.
and you buy
luxury
your
car.
food off food stamps, and yet you can't
Exactly.
afford
But
your
yeah,
own.
you got a nice car.
Yeah, facts. Right.
Drive a Lexus
Because that's what they
live in-
desire.
Alexis.
Leave it
And they
to
wanna
leave it to
show
the
off what
boomers.
they
My
desire.
dad had like this great point the other day, which is so classic. But he was like, "Yeah, why'd even buy fast cars? The speed limit's 65." He wasn't as funny as I was right there, but like it's a point. You can't even drive that.
Yeah, you can't.
You can't even enjoy it. My 92 Honda is better than your Ferrari.
That's true.
It reminds me of Henry David Thoreau in Walden when he talked about my favorite line from Walden, which was, did you know that horse and buggies go 20 miles per hour now? Why in heaven's name would you need to go so fast? 20 miles per hour? God! Breaking the time-space continuum.
All you'll get out of that is just more traffic tickets because you're going too fast.
Yeah, you're going to
your
pay for it one
supercar.
way or another. Whoa, maybe that's what Jesus meant. Praying in secret. Deep.
Wait,
No?
about the car? Wait, could you go again?
Yeah. You could have a Ferrari, but you got to keep that in the garage, baby.
Or just enjoy it.
Love it yourself.
Enjoy
Or
it for
bring it
what
on the
is,
racetrack.
and then bring it on the racetrack.
Exactly.
when you wanna-
Yeah.
buy
Now
your
we're
own
talking Jay
racetrack.
Leno is a man
Well,
of
then,
God.
you got
He's got his own racetrack.
Build it in your yard and drive it just for you.
So facts, right? So this one was a rough translation because next we talk about the holy man manages to empty their minds yet fill their bellies, weaken their ambition yet strengthen their bones. Now bones in ancient Chinese, it was an exact translation. And yet I almost saw no translations of them using the word bones. They're always talking about like some poetic word like resolve, weaken their ambition yet strengthen their resolve, or like their fortitude. And yet they translate it as something that's not the direct translation. So in my translation, I'm trying to be as close as I possibly can be. It's tough. This is an Eastern tongue. It's an Eastern ancient written language. And I'm trying to go as close as I can to the actual words while keeping the actual spirit and the physicality behind it. And I like bones because it's like, who am I to take away your interpretation and give you a stupid interpretation? No. Weaken their ambition, yet strengthen their bones. maybe even, dare I go so far as to say, they literally mean, since I'm talking about empty their minds, fill their bellies, weaken their ambition, and strengthen their bones, maybe they're actually talking about bones. Have you ever thought about that? He wants you to be strong, fortitude, and in a Taoist mentality, bones does mean everything else. Bone is the necessitator. You must have bones to animate the body, which is that which moves throughout this life.
And they kind of they feed off of each other. If you weaken the ambition, the only natural thing that can happen next is to strengthen your bones.
Ooh.
Because if you have weak ambition, you're weak by nature, and you need to go through some blunt force trauma to like get back into it.
Evan's going like this again.
Stronger
he wants to beat someone up.
Beat someone up.
We didn't do our wrestling. Gotta get the Mortal Kombat up in here.
Blind fury.
Marco, you have any thought about bones? Got any boner thoughts, dog?
I mean, just kind of going off what Evan just said, I wouldn't think beating myself up. I would think just like the repetition.
No, but fight the dragon, the weekly theme. Like the dragon needs to break your bones, and then you'll have strong.
You need to. It grows back stronger.
You need to grow back strong. You need to go through the effort of repetition and hard work and doing things over and over again to be able to just do it.
Do it, baby. That's, as deep as you could really get there. But yeah, I just thought that was really fun because this was sort of a fun section I want to do from now on, because often there's really tough translations in the Tao that they use some sort of poetry that maybe doesn't make sense in English, so it needs to be sort of altered. But some people take way too many liberties, let's say. But Mitch is doing it right. Order yours. 6 months from now. It's probably going to be a year, if anything. 81 chapters.
You could also think of the monks that just kick trees to get strong shin bones.
Yeah, that's right.
It's just like, I'm sure at first they're like, I don't want to kick this tree over and over again.
Don't make me kick the tree.
But after a while, it's nothing to them, and their shins are gigantic.
That could be part of it.
And their bones are like 3 times the size.
What's up?
No, fortitude is just
fortitude. Oh, yes. Oh, wait, I can't believe we didn't use our word clandestine when we were talking about praying in private. Well, I get a point right now, I guess.
It's never too late.
It's never too late to get a point. Guys, and that's about the end of our show. Just kidding. I need to make an interstitial for like a final video or like final funny thing. I got one last funny thing to show you guys, but maybe we'll just hit it. Right, Poge? Is that video loaded?
Right on into it.
Yeah, so I found this funny thing on the internet. I thought you guys might like it. I like it.
Excuse me.
Yes, ma'am.
My baby asked for no pickles, and there's pickles on here.
Is Men in Black coming to real life?
Yeah, I want my money back.
Is that Joe Biden?
I want my money back.
Are reptilians real?
These fries is cold.
These fries is cold.
These fucking fries is cold.
Dude, look at this bitch.
I apologize, man. You want your money back?
No, I want my refund, and then I want a large fry, and I want it hot.
I apologize.
You don't have to steer me, man. I'm talking to him. That's the manager, so you can go back there and finish flipping and doing whatever the fuck you're doing. And what is this? I didn't ask for this. How many is that?
You go back to the flipping.
We asked for a 10-piece nugget.
It's so embarrassed.
He doesn't even want to be there.
Oh my fucking gosh.
Dude, this looks like the Chinese black bear.
Because he's alive.
That doesn't even look real.
It looks like. Where do you think this? Where do you think
this is real? That's my question. Look at this fucking shit. This is not even professor. All right, you can get rid of that.
Where do you think that?
What do we got right?
Where do you think that is right now? Like, obviously in a McDonald's. What state do you think that's in?
Florida.
Cali?
Roswell, New Mexico.
Roswell, New Mexico.
It certainly does not look real. I don't know. Let's at least. You think it's real?
I don't know what
he says.
I think it's real. There's a lot of.
I want to say real. That's like
mother could have been on
no,
drugs
that's got to be
in the womb or something.
Yeah, that's got to be real because
there's a lot of chemicals. Thanks, Bill Gates in Canada.
Fentanyl, baby. Maybe.
Oh yeah.
Well, that was a long time ago. She was born. I'm sure.
That's trippy.
Other drugs.
The frog neck is really something else.
That's something else. That's the big one. Dude, that looks like
that's why it makes it look like a mask almost from like Mission Impossible that you put over.
Because it jiggles. It jiggles too much.
But she had a child and everything. Yeah. Too. Like, there's a lot of elements. Poge, is it real?
I you know what? This is one of those ones that I need like an Adobe like analysis team.
Yeah,
to like tell me if this is like.
Dude, it's 2023. It could be. It might not be. I don't know.
It's a completely AI generated video. We've all been pranked.
Yo,
I get a CIA like image analyzer.
It's very pressure, bro. Guys, this has been Ancient Wisdom. Evan, who has won show of the day.
I'm embarrassed to say.
Evan, you did do really well. I was even paying attention this time. I was being cognizant, and you did have a lot of hot points. You deserved it, bro. You deserved it, pal. It is you, right?
I guess, yes, it is. I guess I get the wheel.
That's right. Shall I?
It's cool. I'm in second again.
Get rid of Ryan here, because he's in he's in second. Nice. Okay, good. Oh, snap.
We're going to do that anyway.
Silly background. Oh, wait, you already did that. Well, we'll get creative. If anyone comments on this video, anyone at all, comment.
Anyone at all.
You get to choose the background that these guys hit, or I'll put it into some AI shit.
If you stuck with us this long.
If you stuck with us this long, hit me. If you stuck with us this long, we love you. Please like and subscribe. Ancient Wisdom, baby. Break the conditioning and return to Ancient Wisdom.
Let's get past 21, guys.